Can these scooters hold a buff dude? We're about to find out. Buff dudes on little bikes. The Buff-mobile. Okay, it's a little tiny, but hey, it works. We are here at the iconic Santa Monica Pier. We're ready to start our beginner's body weight routine. This is for those of you who maybe have never worked out before, or you're getting back into it after quite a while. We're gonna hit 4 exercises that'll get you buff. Yeah. We're gonna get right into it with squat. Now this is an exercise that either body weight or weighted you always wanna have in your arsenal. So with this plan, as I mentioned before, this is really for beginners. It's a prep phase. We didn't wanna leave anyone out because in the fitness journey, we're all at different lengths on the road. Some of us have been doing it for a while, some of us are just getting into it. And if you're just getting into it, you really want to perform an exercise such as the squat. So what we would recommend when doing this phase, start with a mobility, get nice and ready, nice and warmed up, and then we're gonna give it a go. So I'm gonna start right here in the sand with squats. We're gonna be doing 3 sets of 15 reps. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna go ahead and place my feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width. My toes are gonna be slightly pointed out, and what you're gonna wanna do is track your knees alongside your toes. Now what that means, you wanna bring them right in this pathway such as this. You don't wanna have them cave in like that. You wanna keep them right in line with those toes. So I'm gonna be going down, back straight, chest up. Here we go. Oh yeah, a little bit below parallel. What you want to do is imagine that you're sitting in a small chair. And for those of you who you may be performing squats for the first time, that may be a little bit difficult, maybe just due to the tightness in the hamstrings or just balance issues. So as you can see, got a little platform right here, which is perfect for those of you. If you don't have something like that, you can grab a small chair, a stool, really anything you can sit on. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, chest up, back straight, we'll go ahead and squat down. As soon as I feel my butt touch that, I'm just gonna bring right back up. So you're not gonna wanna sit on it and stay, you're just gonna wanna touch it. It's just a little bit of a helpful tool. Maybe think of it as training wheels. I'm gonna go back down, touch, and then bring right back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 3, 4. As you can see, I'm bringing my hands a little bit in front of me. This is just for stability. 6, 7. Another thing I'm doing, I'm really keeping the weight concentrated, really on my midfoot. A lot of people, when they're just starting squats, you may have a tendency to lean forward to kind of really put yourself on the balls of your feet. You really want to kind of dig in with the heels and press through the midfoot. So there we go. I may have lost count, but I think I'm at 12. 13. 14, here we go, last one, 15, nice. Now we got our first set out of the way. I'm gonna take about a 60 to 90 second rest before going on to the second set. And as you may remember, we have 3 sets total before moving on to the next exercise. So squats, there you go. Quick little tutorial on how to do them and an excellent way to start this body weight tutorial. Yeah. We got the second exercise of the beginner's prep phase, and we're gonna be performing the inverted row. This is an excellent exercise. If you've never done it before, we're gonna be going over a tutorial, but this particular exercise is perfect if you want to work up the strength in your back to be able to perform your first pull-up. So this is kind of introductory exercise for a lot of beginners, and it could even be advanced too. So it kind of depends on some of the angles that you perform this particular exercise in, and we're gonna go over a little bit of that. But first, I'm gonna kind of get into position so you can see the proper angles that you wanna start at and go from there. So you want a bar, just like so, and the height of the bar is gonna make it either more difficult or more easy here. So this is about a midway point. The higher the bar, the easier it's gonna be because there's gonna be less body weight that you're gonna be having to pull up. The lower the bar, the more difficult it's gonna be because now you're being able to, or you're gonna have to pull up more of your body weight as you perform this exercise. So this is kind of midway point, which is nice to start out on. And you're gonna be getting under the bar, just like so. And you're gonna be gripping the bar, the nice grip. You can be in a little bit outside of shoulder width. Be pulling yourself straight up, just like so. Back down, squeeze those shoulders back, get that stretch, and then back up to the top position.
So you can tell it's a pretty simple movement, but really what you want to concentrate on, or a few things you want to concentrate on, is one, you want to pull those shoulders back. So you'll hear, if you're familiar with our channel, we say, you know, retract the scapula, which is one thing that you do have to do in this particular exercise, because that's going to help you get that full range of motion. If you pull those shoulder blades together, it's going to activate all the muscles, your traps, it's going to activate your lats, and it's also going to be able to give you the strength to pull yourself up to that top position. Because if you don't do that, you're really just going to be doing arm rows. So if you're not really concentrating on that, pulling that scapula back or those shoulder blades together, your arms are going to do most of the work. You're going to burn out, or you might not even be able to perform the exercise at all. So getting in that position, feet together, you want to get it kind of that plank position here, nice and wide, and pull straight up and then back down. As you can tell, I'm kind of like meeting my chest to the bar here. So if you kind of imagine that while you're pulling yourself up, pull that chest up to the bar, and that's really going to help pull those shoulders back and get a bit more contraction in the back, so that way you can properly perform this exercise. So inverted rows, simple exercise, but an essential tool that you should use when trying to build that upper back strength and being able to therefore do your first pull-up. Yeah! Next on the beginner phase program, we have push-ups. Now this is probably the #1 exercise you can do for chest. Much like bench presses in the gym, push-ups are for body weight. That's gonna build and develop that strength and size in the chest. Thankfully, it's a very simple exercise, but there's a few things that you wanna keep in mind whenever you're performing push-ups for the very first time. One thing is gonna be, you want to contain a straight body, a rigid body, much like, kind of like planks in a way, where the lower body and the upper body are in that same position and same angle. And also, you want to keep your hands somewhat wide, but also you don't want to flare your elbows out too far. You want to kind of tuck them in a little bit, so that way they're about a 45-degree angle to your body. So the elbow to body ratio is about 45-degree angles. And when you lower yourself down to the bottom position, you want to allow your shoulder blades to squeeze together. Kind of contract, retract the scapula through there, kind of bring that chest up, kind of feel that stretch in the pectoralis major muscle, and then push to the top position, get a nice squeeze at the top, and then go from there. One thing you have to remember though, if you're performing push-ups for the first time, you don't really have too much strength in the chest, and it's really difficult. Some people have a hard time getting that. You can always perform it on your knees. Now this is called the sissy push-ups, but I think that name should be kind of scratched out, because there's nothing sissy about having to have a little assistance when you're first beginning a certain exercise. And so we're gonna go through this exercise so you can kind of see what it's all about. And we're gonna perform 15 repetitions and get a nice chest pump, because I mean, we're at the beach, so what better way of looking good than pumping up the pecs. Oh yeah. Straight body. Hands solid, a little wider than shoulder stance. As you can see, my hands here, just bring it down. See how my elbows aren't flaring? They're kind of cupped a little bit tighter. Pulling the shoulders back, chest up, straight up. Yeah, felt pretty good. Oh, my chest is so happy, it's dancing, you can tell. Chest pump, baby. Push-ups, hell yeah. Get it done.
Last on the list is going to be planks. Now this one is an isometric exercise. So what that means is you are going to be holding this exercise, and it's going to be working the core. In fact, it's one of the greatest exercises to work the core. So let's go ahead and get it started. You're going to go into a slightly modified push-up position. And what I mean by that is you're going to go ahead just as you were about to perform a push-up, but what you're going to do is go ahead and rest on the forearms just like this. You're going to keep that tight, rigid body, core tight, back straight, and you're going to hold. We're going to go ahead and hold this for 60 seconds. If you can't hold for 60, go ahead and try for 30. Need that mental fortitude for this one. Sing a song in your head, sing out loud. Hell, we're at Venice Beach, so I can sing out loud. No one's even gonna think I'm crazy. Push it to the limit, rise above the burning flames. Na 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 na, you're gonna win it, oh yeah. I've known that song for a long time, so I should know all the lyrics, but I don't know, usually by this point at the end of the exercise, I'm just kind of mumbling incoherently. All right, there we go. I'm gonna say that's about 60 seconds. Again, I'm not sure, but hey, I'm gonna take a little bit of a rest. I'm gonna do 2 more sets, and then we are all done. So that wraps up the beginner's body weight phase. It's gonna be very simple for a lot of people. In fact, if you've been doing body weight or spent any time in the gym, you're probably gonna skip this phase, but we couldn't forget the people who are getting into it the very first time. So for you, we hope you enjoy it. We hope you've been able to help. And remember, it's not so much starting, it's keeping with it. So consistency is the important part. Get outdoors, get inside an apartment, a school, anywhere really. That's what's great about body weight. Get going, get buff, and we will see you again for phase 1 of the Buff Dudes body weight.
The rope could barely hold Hudson there. I heard a lot of squeaking going on.
This old rope's seen a lot of bodies.